Let's talk about ecological problems. Global warming from fossil fuels. For example, after several consecutive months of record-breaking temperatures, the hottest ever summer and the hottest day on the record in 2024 was recently confirmed as the hottest year in the history, with the global average temperature 0.12 Celsius above 2023, the previous warmest calendar year on a record. The global average temperature was 1.60 Celsius above the industrial levels, making it also the first calendar year that has reached more than 1.5 above the previous industrial level. This wrapped up a decade of unprecedented heat globally, fueled by human activities, which of the past 10 years, 2015-2024, being one of the 10 warmest years on a record. What's more, greenhouse gases concentration have never been so high. Atmospheric concentrations of all three major planet-warming gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, reached new highs in 2023, committing the planet to rising temperatures for many years to come. This is undoubtedly one of the biggest environmental problems of our lifetime, as greenhouse gas emissions blanket the Earth. They trap the sun's heat, leading to global warming. Atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide from 1985 to 2023. The burning of coal, for example, natural gas and oil, electricity and heat is single largest source of global GHG emission. These are the primary drivers of global warming, as they trap heat in atmosphere and rising Earth's surface temperature. Increased emission of greenhouse gases have led to rapid and steady increase in a global temperature, which is in turn causes catastrophic events all over the world. From Australia to United States, experiencing some of the most devastating bushfires seasons ever recorded, locusts swarming across part of Africa, the Middle East and Asia, decimating crops, and heat wave in Antarctica that saw temperature rise about 20 degrees Celsius for the first time. Scientists are constantly warning that the planet has crossed a series of tipping points that could have catastrophic consequences, such as advancing permafrost melt in Arctic region, the Greenland ice sheet melting at an unprecedented rate, accelerating 6 max extinction and increasing deforestation in an Amazon rainforest, just to name a few. The climate crisis is causing tropical storms and other weather events such as hurricane, heat waves, and flooding to be more intense and frequent than seen before. However, even if all greenhouse gas emissions were heated immediately, global temperatures would continue to rise in coming years. That is why it is absolutely imperative that we start now to drastically reduce emissions, invest in renewable energy sources, and phase our fossil fuel as fast as possible. Fossil fuel dependence. According to economists like Nicholas Stern, the climate crisis is a result of multiple market failures. For decades, economists and environmentalists have urged policymakers to increase the price of activities that emit greenhouse gases. This can be done, for example, through carbon taxes, which will stimulate innovations in low-carbon technologies. To cut emissions quickly and effectively enough, government must not only massively increase funding for green innovations to bring down the cost of low carbon energy sources, but they also need to adopt range of other policies that address each of the other market failures. A national carbon tax is currently implemented in 27 countries around the world, including various countries in the United Nations, Canada, Singapore, Japan, Ukraine, and Argentina. However, according to the 2019 OECD Tax Energy Use Report, current tax structures are not adequately aligned with the pollution profile of energy sources. For example, the OECD suggests that carbon taxes are not harsh enough on a coal production, although it has proven to be effectively for the electricity industry. A carbon tax has been effectively implemented in Sweden. The carbon tax is $127 per ton and has reduced emissions by 25% since 1995, while it economically has expanded 75% in the same time period. Members of the UN are not obligated to adhere to suggestions or recommendations put forth by the organizations. For instance, the Paris Agreement and Landmark Accord, and under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, outlines the necessity for countries to make substantial reductions in greenhouse gas emissions to limit global temperature rise to below 2 degrees of Celsius by in 100 years, with a preferable target of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Participation in the agreement is voluntary, and there are typical to tangible consequences for non-compliance. A third of the food intended for human consumption, around 1.3 billion tons, is wasted or lost. This is enough to feed 3 billion people. Food waste and loss account for approximately 1/4 of greenhouse gas emissions annually. If it was a country, food waste would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases behind China and the US. For food production accounts for around 1/4, 26% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Food waste and loss occurs at a different stage in developing and developed countries. In developing countries, 40% of the food waste occurs at the post-harvest and processing levels, while in developed countries, 40% of the food waste occurs at the retail and consumer levels. At the retail level, a shocking amount of food waste because of ethical reason. In fact, in the US, more than 50% of all produce thrown away in the US is done because it is deemed to be too ugly to be sold to consumers. This amount about 60 million tons of fruit and vegetables. The past 50 years have seen a rapid growth of human consumption, pollution, global trade, and urbanization, resulting in humanity using more of the Earth's resources than it can replenish naturally. A 2020 report found that the pollution sizes of mammals, fish, birds, reptiles, and amphibians have experienced a decline of an average of 68% between 2017 and between 1970 and 2016. The report attributes this biodiversity loss to a variety of factors, but mainly land use change, particularly the conservation of habitats like forests, grasslands, and mangroves into the agricultural systems. Animals such as pangolins, sharks, and seahorses are significantly affected by the illegal wildlife trade, and pangolins are critically endangered because of it. More broadly, a 2021 analysis has found that the six mass extinction of wildlife on Earth is accelerating. More than 500 species of land animals are on the brink of extinction and are likely to be lost within 20 years. The same number were lost over the whole of the last century. The scientists say that without the human destruction of nature, this rate of loss would have taken thousands of years. In Antarctic, climate change triggered melting of sea ice is taking heavily toll on emperor penguins and could wipe out